Oh, hey there, America. Wouldn't you like a 2-inch spring-loaded relief valve made here in the USA? Not one of those crappy imported valves. Well, now you can with the PD Blower's 2-inch spring-loaded weighted relief valve. All joking aside, my name's Corey Hanna. I'm an applications engineer here at PD Blowers. This is our 2-inch spring-loaded relief valve. We developed this in-house. I actually designed it and engineered it, and we manufacture and machine it here in Gainesville, Georgia. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started in building this. So this is all 6061 T6 anodized aluminum. It's anodized blue. This is a 302 stainless steel spring, 304 stainless steel T-handle or stem as people refer to it. And I have my 2 set screws, which are also gonna be 304 stainless steel. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of WD-40 to these threads. Make sure I get that around my threads. I've got a rag with me. I'm gonna put a little bit of WD-40 into the threads here on the body. All right, and then I'm going to take my disc. I'm going to drop that into the bore. All right, and then I'm going to thread my nozzle into the body. Make sure you guys are using WD-40 as a lubricant, otherwise you can shear the top surface of that anodized coating. It should go in pretty easy. All right, so got that all in there. We'll drop our spring in, and then I'm going to grab my bonnet, and what sets these valves is how far I push down on the bonnet. We'll thread it in. That'll apply force on the spring, setting the valve. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and set the valve to 5 PSI. So again, use a little bit of WD-40. Also, I want to make sure that you guys see this. This spring needs to be located on this boss right here. Shouldn't have an issue. There's also a boss on the disc itself. Just make sure it's located and that's centered. And then we're just going to thread the bonnet on. Be careful with power tools. It's okay if you guys use hand tools, but don't use power tools on this. There's a potential that you could gall up the threads, and once you've galled up the threads on aluminum, the valve's toast. Like, you're not getting it apart. Good luck. I'm just doing this by hand. Feel free to use a socket and a wrench. It's fine, or a crescent wrench. That works too. We're at such a low set pressure, it doesn't matter, but as we're getting into like 12 or 15 PSI, we have a heavier duty spring that we have to use. We don't publish this information to the public. We have heights from the top of this bonnet to the body. If you guys call and ask, I can give it to you, but I'd really prefer these valves be set in the factory because we actually have a test stand where we can verify what the actual set pressure of the valve is. There's a tolerance in the spring, so I can't just give you a distance and it be dead nuts on. There's a good chance that there's going to be a little bit of variation. It's probably only going to be like, you know, a half PSI to maybe 3/4 of a PSI, but depending on what your application is, that might matter. Okay, so I have some calipers. I will measure. Again, I was provided a value for 5 PSI from the factory. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. Feel free to give us a call and ask. All right, almost there. All right, take my 2 set screws. I have my 1 set screw. Make sure that this nozzle is seated up against the body. And take this set screw here. This will bite down on the nozzle, or the nozzle to the body. So this has already got a thread locker on it, but if you had to disassemble the valve for whatever reason, just use some blue Loctite on it. I would strongly recommend not using red Loctite if you ever think you're going to have to pull the valve apart. But if you're dead set and you know you're not going to pull the valve apart ever again, by all means use red Loctite, but you're realistically not going to get that red Loctite out. All right, this goes into the top of the body, and what this set screw is doing is it is locking this bonnet into position, and then it's also going to crimp down on those threads. So there's no way for that bonnet to back out. And again, that bonnet is what's driving down on the spring to provide the force necessary to have your relief valve pop at a certain set pressure. In this case, it's going to be 5 PSI. So I'll wipe this down real quick. And the last thing that I'm going to install is this T-handle here. You'll also hear it referred to as a stem. Do not put any Loctite or pipe dope on this. There is a chance that you might have to disassemble the valve down the road, and if you put Loctite or pipe dope on it, there's really not a good surface to bite down to on this disc here. You're probably not going to be able to get it out, and the valve's going to be toast. So again, if this comes out due to vibration, there's a good chance that it will over many years. Just thread it back in, tighten it up by hand, just so the disc doesn't rotate on you. You can put your finger on the disc and rotate this stem back in. Caution, if this valve was in operation, this is aluminum, there's a good chance that there's a lot of heat. That heat has built up in the valve. So make sure that valve is cool if you're going to touch it, if it was in operation. That being said, if you're touching that valve, proper lockout, tagout procedures, I'd make sure that the line is, de-energized and it's safe to work on. You don't know what lockout, tagout is, probably don't want to be doing the maintenance on your own. Get a professional to do it or someone that's qualified in maintenance. But that's it. This is a 2-inch spring-loaded relief valve. It's all manufactured here in the United States out of domestic raw material. The aluminum and the stainless is all sourced here in the United States and built in the United States. So if you want a cost-competitive valve that's going to function, is going to last for many years, give this valve a shot. I think it'll serve you well.